Rabbit, Phoenix, Salamander. Oh my! Today we're reading Chapter 11 of Ender's Game, Veni Vidi Vici, where Ender must face all of his opponents and all of his friends in a very short amount of time, all before breakfast. He's practically fighting every day, and it's exhausting. He's taken his troops to their end, and they're exhausted as well. He still has a complicated relationship with Bean, but is it getting any better? We'll find out on the Doctors Who podcast coming.
Hello, we are the Doctors Who podcast. My name is Chris.
I'm Chip.
I'm Brian.
And we are covering Chapter 11, as you just heard.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Good work.
I ran over here as fast as I could.
Amazing. Your time has never been better.
So I don't even know where to start on this one. There's a lot that's happening here. So basically, Ender is kind of thrust into the meat of battle school. I think that they've had 7 battles in 7 days. He's 7-0, but he's starting to see what the commander at Graf and the teachers are doing to him and putting him in kind of these Kobayashi Maru no-win situations and letting him in, trying to see what he does to figure things out. So, that was my train of thought. But anyway, so he starts realizing that I've got to start looking at different ways to do things. I need to be more unconventional. I'm going to give Bean this special assignment to kind of come up with risky tactics. I'm going to go look at all these old videos and see what I can learn. So he does all that. Is this the one where... Yeah, so this is where they fight Salamander Army. So the big thing that happens here is that Salamander's given basically a 20-minute or so head start. They're all in the room waiting. And Ender figures out how to defeat them still. Really embarrasses Bonzo. Kind of gets rude with Anderson and walks out and has no acknowledgement for Bonzo. Just completely pissing him off, which is setting up big events to come in subsequent chapters.
So this is kind of the turning point for me with Ender. So far we've been seeing him participate in the games, and as he's participating, he's realizing that this is less and less of a game, and it's more a fight between him and the enemies are the teachers. Mm-hmm. So he's been thrown all of these tasks, these seemingly impossible obstacles, and he's doing things... I don't know, like one of my favorite scenes in here, and I think Chris probably was going to talk about it too, so I apologize if I steal your thunder, but
You're good, go.
The video room, I thought that was a really interesting segment because we get no context as to why Ender goes in there. We know he's curious about it, and he wants to see and learn more about Mazarakan, and he walks in, and he starts watching, and all of a sudden, because he's been winning, everyone else becomes interested in it too, so he's almost setting the culture and setting the tone. Mm-hmm. But he is, again, by himself. He has his army, and his army is getting good. It takes most first-time commanders about 3 months, 4 months before they can actually fight a battle and then win. And he's been able to do it within a matter of a couple weeks. So he is clearly the tactical leader in this entire battle school, and it shows with all of his unique ways to win, including that time against Salamander Army that you referenced, hanging the hats on the door to signal that they won even before the battle really happens. So, really good stuff. This is a really dense chapter, probably one of my favorites. There's so many things to talk about. Chris, I'll pass it over to you.
Strangely enough, you did not hit on the video room what I was going to hit on, but
Awesome.
It does set some things up. And the first thing I want to hit on is that Ender realizes the strategies he's employing are only good for so long. Other armies are going to not only figure them out, but they're going to start to employ some of the same things. Mm-hmm. So he knows he has to get better, right? Mm-hmm. And that sets up a couple of things. It sets up him going and watching video, trying to go back to the wars and figure out how Mazar Rockham, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, how he did what he did. And here is the interesting thing. And it even comes up with Graf, right? He's like, okay, there's absolutely nothing around the IF strategy. It's all like the same shot of Mazar Rockham blowing up one ship. Mm-hmm. So why is all of that edited out? Why is it hidden from view of not only the public but also the kids that they're trying to teach to be the next Mazar Raka. Why?
Totally
Why
propaganda.
is all that not available? That was my big question. But what he does is he starts to look at the bugger strategy, and he starts to piece together what they're doing in various videos, because that stuff hasn't been redacted.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's able to piece different videos together in sequential order to figure out what they're doing and how they're successful. And everybody else who comes in and copies,
Mm-hmm.
because he is kind of the like what they're aspiring to, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
They want to figure out what he's
Is he
doing.
trending?
So that he would be trending. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag Ender Williams. But they're trying to figure out how they can keep up with him, or how they can even like close the gap a
Yeah.
little bit, because statistically he and his army are leading in every category.
Was this the one where they said in the top 50 he's got 40? Yeah, all 40 of
so.
his
And
Yeah.
troops are on
Yeah.
there.
you have to go to the 18th spot in order to find someone
Someone
from a
that's
different army.
not from Dragon. Yeah.
But it's the other commanders that are in there looking at film. They're like, I don't know what we're looking at. There's nothing here. And even I don't think Graf even realizes what he's doing. He's like, why does he keep watching the film? We've
Yeah.
redacted all the
Mhm.
important stuff out, so he can't figure it out either. So, and then the thing with Bean that you guys
Mhm.
mentioned, right, where he's almost like his own little special forces unit. He's like, find unconventional things, because they're going to start to figure out how I'm thinking, and I want something separate from me to throw at them.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. And that's what I've got. See, you didn't steal my thunder.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Good
Good
job.
job.
Good job. Good job.
Good job.
Thanks.
One thing that I neglected to mention in the intro, as well as my favorite discussion points, I really like the fact that we get to hear back from Dink Meeker
Mhm.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
When he walked into the commander mess hall, usually you're greeted by friends, you're greeted, as kind of a, like, hey, here's the new guy, he's got a losing record, let's cheer him up. But he's not greeted with any sort of warm welcome. But I like the fact that, well, not only did Carn speak to him later, about, all right, this is, clearly a class guy right here, but I think Dink even left him a note.
Yeah, that might be the next
Was that?
chapter. But, well, Dink leaves in the note to talk about, warn him that you really pissed off Bonzo. He's coming for you.
But there's still there is some elements of, even though he's been so isolated, there is maybe a little bit of a glimmer of, people hate you, but there are some people who are still maybe in your corner. They're just not vocal.
The whole thread of friendship through this is interesting, too, how he seems to make a friend and then gets put into a situation where he can't really be a friend on that same level anymore. So they talk about that when he goes to the mess hall and he runs into Eli, who was his friend from the first army that he was in.
The launchies, right?
Yeah, it was the launchies, but then so it was Eli, and I can't remember the kid's name, but anyway, he's got that guy. Dink was never really, I wouldn't call him a friend, it's
Petra was, though.
Petra was. Dink was more of, he had a lot of respect for him, because he's the one that pulled him into Salamander Army and, recruited him, but...
Rat Army,
Or
wasn't
was it Rat?
Rat.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So many armies.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. But anyway, but the whole idea of friendship and how, because of his situation, he really can't have friends, in the conventional sense. So, he's got a few people that he confides in here and there, but eventually they're taken away from him.
Yeah. Look,
So it's,
this is kind of a turning point, I think. Brian, you said that, and it's setting the stage for some major events, and we're going to talk about one of those major events next week when we discuss Chapter 12. We invite you to subscribe and hit that bell notification so that when we do post that next one, you get a notification. Also, please consider liking this video. That does do us a tremendous service, and we would be eternally in your debt. Eternally in your debt.
That's a long time. Forever.
It is a long time. And we don't say these things lightly. Do we say these things lightly?
No.
We don't say these things lightly at all. And lastly, please feel free to use the comment section. Tell us what you like, what you didn't like, anything that you feel we missed or misrepresented. We would be happy to carry on that conversation there. And lastly, until we meet again,
Allons-y.